double smiley sandwich, curly fries, and a vanilla shake.
Make that two.
That'll be $7.98. Please drive up to the window. Thank you.
It's time to sample some local fare.
Smile, you're at Mr. Smiley.
What's hot? What's cool? Food for the soul.
Can I give you two guys a friendly piece of advice, okay? Don't ever go up to the drive-thru, okay? Always walk up to the counter.
Have a banana, have a whole bunch. It doesn't matter what you had for lunch. Just eat it, eat it.
It's the Wednesday Drive-Thru with Martin Kilcoyne on the Big 550.
Would you like Smiley sauce with that?
KTRS.
And joining us here in studio, the executive chef at Oceano Bistro, John Lowe, is with us, and John has brought some wonderful food. Not only the smell, but the display.
The variety.
The variety.
Yes.
It looks very gourmet. John, welcome.
Thank
Glad
you.
that you're here. And I know folks are familiar with Oceano and Clayton. We also have the West County location. We're going to tell them all about that, but let's tell them your cooking background, because you've been schooled in the culinary arts.
I have.
Johnson in Wales is a famous name when we talk about cooking. So how did you end up there, and were you a kid that said, okay, I'm not eating PB&J, Mom, I'm going to make something better?
Well, I was born and raised in Kentucky, and I came from a single-parent home. Around 7 or 8, I decided that I was just done with microwave food. So I grabbed one of my mom's cookbooks, and I started producing grocery lists and things of that nature for her to put together and go to the store and get me some items. And I believe one of the worst things I ever made was this big old bowl of ground beef and stewed tomatoes and peppers. And she ate it, but you could tell that she didn't like it.
That's why moms are the best.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Dad would have, maybe me,
Would have been
pointed
honest.
out,
Yes.
said, yeah, this is terrible. What's this?
I think Dad would have had me take it straight to the trash can. So.
But as part of your schooling, then you get out of there. You're working in South Carolina, and you actually waited on or cooked for Vanna White and Bill Murray?
Correct. I worked for a catering company in South Carolina while I was in school, and then once I graduated, and we would do all these really cool catering events up along the coastline, like Kiowa Islands is a pretty famous resort, like a golf resort there. And these celebrities would just show up without us even knowing, and the next thing we knew, we were passing out hors d'oeuvres to Vanna White or Bill Murray. I once catered to the entire New York Knicks team when they were in the playoffs playing the Miami Heat. The hotel that we were catering to, they stayed at the hotel
Really?
for
I
about
bet they
3
could
nights.
throw down some food.
It was unbelievable how much food that they would eat. We would set up a buffet, and every time you thought you had enough food that morning or afternoon, you'd have to go out and get some more for them.
Well, let's talk about Oceano and how many years, the Clayton location, and now how many years in Chesterfield?
We've been open in Clayton for about 6 years. It's actually 6 years this month. Chesterfield will be 1 year in August. We've gone through a couple of transitions out there in Chesterfield. The clientele's slightly different. We specialize in, obviously, seafood with the name given, but we've also started experimenting with steaks and gourmet sandwiches and more land or meat items that Kuna Food Service has helped us along the way with, and doing a little research and development. And we've got 2 steaks on our menu now out in Chesterfield, which we've learned that most of the clientele out there is more of your meat and potatoes clientele. And we are soon to put on another steak. It needs a few weeks to kind of dry age on the shelf, but we're specializing in all prime cuts of meat, which is a little bit on the upper part of the ladder when it comes to cuts of meat. And like I said, it'll be a year in August. We've got a beautiful, beautiful patio out there with a cascading waterfall. For those that have never been out there, it would be nice to go out there and sit on a day like today,
Yes.
In between all the rain that we've been getting, obviously. And just recently we started doing a buffet brunch out there on Sundays from 10 to 2.
Sounds like you really listened to what your customers would like to see on the menu. You seem to have brought a sampling with you today. Walk us through some of the many items that you brought with you today.
Well, I brought a nice little array of items. We have a coconut shrimp salad that is one of our more popular entree-like salads.
Finally, a salad I can eat. Okay, it's got coconut shrimp in there.
There's a couple other unique things in there, like hearts of palm. Takes tastes kind of like an artichoke. We've got avocado and tomato in there as well. That's all tossed in a balsamic vinaigrette. And then I also brought a smoked salmon BLT that's on a toasted white bread with lettuce, tomatoes, and bacon, obviously. That's got a nice garlic aioli on the bread. Definitely a popular sandwich in Clayton, but I thought I'd bring it today for everyone to try to see if it can't create some sort of little buzz in Chesterfield.
Well, I think it's smart to have the surf and the turf because I'm more the meat eater. My wife loves seafood. So if she picks a place, it may be the seafood place, and I pick the meat place, so it's a great idea to kind of blend the two.
We've always had a little section on our menu with chicken and pork and lamb and beef, but we've just realized out in Chesterfield or the West County area, for that matter, that people like a little bit more variety in that category, and we've slowly started expanding that way.
Let's give them the exact location, address, but also kind of framework out there in Chesterfield.
It's 16125 Chesterfield Parkway West. The phone number is 636-536-9404, and it's on the backside of the mall on Chesterfield Parkway. For most people that can familiarize themselves with that area, it's the old Andrea Steakhouse. It was Crazy Fish at one time, and then it was also Aquavent as well. So there's been a little bit of a history there with restaurants in that location, and we're definitely determined to make it work, and I think with the staff that I have, we can make that happen.
John Lowe is with us. He's the executive chef at Oceano Bistro, and the location in Clayton. 6 years now, Chesterfield, a 1-year anniversary. What do you sell the most of? What do you go through each week? Is there a most popular item at Oceano?
Most popular item by far would be the sea bass. Sea bass comes with a asparagus and corn risotto. We pan-sear it, we herb crust it, and then we serve it with a smoked tomato butter. And that, by far, is our most popular item. I would say we go through at least 75 to 100 pounds of bass a week in each location.
And you mentioned heart of palm earlier. What exactly? You said it's kind of like artichoke. I like heart of palm, but I don't understand what it is.
It's actually the inner part of a palm tree, or the stalk of a palm tree. And it's the tender part. So you can't just go out and hack down a palm tree and expect to get this.
If you're listening at home, don't try this at home, right?
Yes, absolutely. Do not go out and get a machete and start hacking down your palm trees in your backyard. But this is more of a smaller plant, or an immature plant, to where you can still get that tender inner part. And it has very, very neutral flavor, kind of like an artichoke or celery.
I love brunch. I'm kind of intrigued by your Sunday brunch. Is that what day you said? Tell us about that. It seems like
we kind of have the best of both worlds.
Okay.
In both locations. We offer a menu in Clayton, which we just revamped the entire menu about 3 months ago, completely overhauled the whole thing. And then in Chesterfield, we felt that our holiday brunches, which we did buffets on the Easter and Mother's Day holiday, we felt that there was more of a calling for a buffet out there. So we just started doing a buffet about 3 weeks ago. It's $19.95 for adults. Kids are $8.95. There's over 100 items on the buffet. We've got a nice array of cold seafood, crab legs, shrimp, mussels. There's a house-cured salmon platter. There's about 5 or 6 chafing dishes with hot food in it, salads. I can go on
pancakes,
and on.
French toast, eggs, omelets.
We do pancakes to order, so they stay nice and fresh. They're not sitting out on a buffet table. And then we also do omelets to order, and the server will actually come to your table and take your order. You don't have to get up or anything.
John, thanks so much for being here. Oceano Bistro, the 2 locations, Clayton and then in Chesterfield. Don't forget about Sunday brunch and great seafood, of course, but also a little meat on that plate now as well at Oceano. John, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
All right, the Wednesday Drive-Thru brought to you by our friends at Kuna Foods. And this is what you call bad planning. Our next segment is the list of St. Louis on the fittest cities. We're not exactly in the top 10. As we go to break and we stare at all this food. Oh, this is healthier food. This is good.
Yes.
We'll get to that list. Don Lemon a little bit later. Legal Talk, Scott Sherman coming up 2 o'clock hour right here on KTRS.